Imagine this. You're sitting down playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or the Red Dead Redemption. You hear the strum of a guitar in vibrato while you're messing around killing fools in a kid's microphone. Press tab to see the lobby to mute the person. And then boom, suddenly, a band filled with 20 members just blast your eardrums like you're sitting right in front of them, and now you're deaf for more than 20 seconds. Like any other person, bully the kid, then mute them, tell them to get a better mic, and then that's it. But if you were a keen listener, you would have recognized that this kid on the other side of the television was playing some form of music. It's a traditional Mexican music, and it's called Mariachiii. You quickly unmute the kid, grab your phone, put it next to your headphones, then you ask Siri to name that tune, and when that doesn't work, you get very, very angry, throw your Xbox out the fucking window, and boom, you're now sad, broken, because 1, you threw your Xbox out the room, and 2, you don't know the name of that tune. That tune stays in your head, and now you're haunted forever because you don't know that tune, and you're also haunted by Vicente Fernandez for not knowing the song. Crazy how such a beautiful piece of art could do that to you. You now are cursed. But how did that mariachi band come about? There's a lot of history behind mariachi bands, and as somebody of Mexican descent, they're pretty good. they make some incredible music. How did it grow from Mexico? How did we get to this current state where bandas music is now some of the most popular form of music of Latino girls on Instagram? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The mariachi band started in the 19th century Mexico during the French intervention, specifically in Jalisco. It is believed that in the term, the mariachi came from the French word for marriage. Why marriage? Well, these bands were known to play at weddings, religious gatherings, or parties held in rural Mexico, specifically rural southwest Mexico. That is where Jalisco is at. They were playing mainly polk type music, just instruments. If you know polk, I'll put up a sound clip right here of it. What the fuck happened? Very awkward. My girlfriend just thought it was just instruments. It was just polk music. Here's a video of polk music. The modern mariachi wouldn't start until the mid-1920s after the Mexican Revolution. Basically, a lot of mariachi bands were staying local at the time. I mean, mariachi was just, a couple of people from same town just really getting together and just kind of playing for churches and weddings. So, in the 1920s, after the revolution, they started to migrate to Mexico City. There's a huge migration to Mexico City. And because of this massive resurgence, is surgence a word? I don't know. Well, anyways, these people that are moving to the city are bringing all of their culture into this one city. It's just getting right in there. It's just going there. A lot of parts of the culture and stuff, because of this great migration to Mexico City, that's where a lot of people started, discussing more ideas, just the usual great migration to a massive city. And in the city, that's where the modern form of mariachi was born. During the time post-revolution, the mariachi was dramatically transformed by massive culture changes that happened, and so did the culture of the mariachi. No longer was the rags, non-drip, the no clout of rural farm work. In the 40s, there were cowboys. With cowboys, they're cool. They're snazzy. They have little boots that have spurs and stuff, and they go, yeah, with a rope. They thought, let's copy that. So now in the mariachi band, they got their iconic look. Here's a picture right here. Here's another picture. Look at him. He's so snazzy. So now the mariachis have their iconic look, right? I mean, you can't even stray far away from a blockbuster movie in Mexico having a mariachi band. because they're so cool, or maybe it's the fact that they're racist. Who knows? You know, I like mariachis. We all like mariachis. This is the ideal type, the mariachi, which is true. But they'll just put like a mariachi band in front of a fucking in front of somebody getting executed, I guess, bro. It's the most movie to ever movie. Why I bring up movies? If it wasn't for Mexican films such as Aya en el Rancho Grande and Ay, Jalisco no te rayas, no te rayas, rajes, I don't know. I'm Americanized. These Mexican films did grow the popularity of mariachi bands, and it hit a wider audience. Though it's important to note that these Mexican films really grew mariachi just in Mexico, and they would grow in America in a different way. And another important point of these mariachi bands being in movies, doing the soundtracks, is that they started adding lyrics. Now, at the time, music didn't have lyrics at all, you know, except for Gregorian chants, but that was at the church, and that's not real music. So everything was mainly just instrumental until around the late 1920s, early 30s, with the exponential boom of jazz in the South. You know, there was all that skit scat and bip bap and nobody doop bap and jazz, basically. But the main important thing about jazz is that Mexican media companies would be in close relationships with American media companies, meaning that they kind of like followed what American media companies were doing, like how they made money, how they produced records, all that stuff. In some cases, they did ask America for help for producing records, as that was mainly an American thing. You know, America would produce records and ship them out. But another important piece of technology that would broaden the range of mariachis was radio. Radios was becoming a mainstay in all homes across Mexico as well. In the late 30s to the early 40s, early radio programs such as La Hora Nacional, also said that completely wrong, would grow the mariachis to a broader audience. You know, a lot more people were listening to this music, listening to the bands, listening to what they spoke about, their lyrics. A lot of their lyrics was mainly romance and cowboy shit. They would just vibe to it like they would with jazz. I mean, jazz was just beep boops for a long time. I mean, look at electronic music. That's fake.
Wake up, Mr. West. Wake up, Mr. West. Mr. West. Mr. West. Mr. West.
They got the swag. They got the money. They got the popularity, but they're missing something. Can't be swag, can't be popularity, can't be money, because I just listed that. It was culture. The mariachis would embellish themselves in fiestas, weddings, public gatherings, schools, quinces, any Mexican get-together you can think of, even funerals sometimes. I made a joke about that earlier, but that did happen. Any Mexican get-together, you can bet that there is going to be some live band playing. Later in the 60s and the 70s, they would bring back folk dancing and mariachi to add more to the culture. Like I said previously, a lot of mariachi bands started with folk music. That was their main way of entertainment back in their rural kind of areas. And in the 60s and the 70s, you know, singers would sing more about romance, stories of outlaws. You know, it was a lot like old Midwest country in a sense, where mariachi was very traditional. If you really think about it, mariachis are really an important symbol of Mexican culture. It basically became the culture for a long time there. Whenever we think of like Mexican culture and stuff, or whatever, like movie, television show, video game, anything that happens to take place in Mexico, there's always going to be like traditional wear and mariachi bands playing. It says a lot that they've had this impact that it can't be disassociated from it. It also helps that they made good music as well, like this. It's so big now that it's a part of southwestern United States culture as well, which is it's an important part of southwestern American culture, because that's where a lot of Spanish speaking Mexican immigrants and population growth was insane around that area as well. We come to modern day, mad because you threw your Xbox out the window, and I get it. It's sad. It's okay. You're laying there being haunted because you don't know the tune. Don't worry. It's okay. Here's that tune. Now, when you look back at mariachi bands and where they really started at, I feel like there's a better appreciation for the art of mariachi just because it's tradition, it's culture, it's everything like that. You can put on your headphones, and to celebrate both cultures mixing together, I decided to make a mix of hit song Task Force 141 by Bandas. In the spirit of mixing things together, I put a metal guitar track on it because I wanted to do that. You can skip this part if you'd like, and the video will end here. I'm just going to put the song and the track at the end of it. It is a rough cut. It's going to be the full song at the end of it. I might put a Google Drive link at the bottom if you guys want to save it. That's what it is. Oh, on the other hand, here's a sneak peek to my next video.